أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي لا يبلغ مدحته القائلون ولا يحصي نعماءه العاجون ولا يؤدي حقه المجتهدون، الذي لا يدركه بعد الهمم ولا يناله غوص الفطن. ثم الصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، على عبد المعيد الرسول المسدد الرسول المسدد المحمود الأحمد أبي القاسم محمد وعلى أهل البيت الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين، ولعن الله أعداءهم أجمعين إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقد قال الله قوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استجيبوا لله ولرسوله إذا دعاكم لما يحييكم واعلموا أن الله يحول بين المرء وقلبه وأنه إليه تحشرون. صلى الله Rediscovering Islam has been our ongoing topic since day number 1. Tonight is lecture number 9 and is the final lecture of the series. First of all, let me thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for allowing us the tawfiq to once again do our best to commemorate the shahadat of Imam Hussein. And on a personal note, thank Qayem and the Shia Association of North America, the Qayem youth as well, my elders especially, my youth especially, for allowing this haqir to be part of this commemoration for the past 9 nights. I was last here in this community 3 years ago, and the amount of changes and the amount of advancement I've seen in the 3 years that I haven't been here has been amazing. And my du'as are always with this community, and as Dr. Saab said, inshallah, we won't be a stranger. But at the same time, I ask you to please remember me and my du'as, and my Muslim father as well, inshallah. And I ask you only please, we ask Allah to accept our service, to accept our ibadat towards Mission Imam Hussein, inshallah. May Allah answer every single one of your du'as, remove any grief that all of you are in, inshallah, and keep you on the path of the Ahlul Bayt. One salawat ala Muhammad. One point I want to make before we dive into our topic, because after today I will not get this crowd that I have right now in front of me. And the opportunity doesn't come every single year, it comes once a year actually. I want to speak a little bit about the importance of community to all of you. There are some youth who sit in front of me who are not seen throughout the year. There are some elders who live 10 minutes away from the center and don't come except for once or twice a year. My experience has been, being born and raised in Toronto, is that the amount of tools of salvation that we have in this society to preserve our deen are very few. And the amount of tools used to misguide us in this society away from our religion are quite a lot. So those few tools that we have for salvation, we have to maintain them and give them their importance. One tool are the centers and the massages that we have in our cities. It is vital, and I can't stress this enough, that you have some sort of a connection to the center in your city. I'm not here promoting the Qayem. I'm simply saying that if you live close by to any center, make a connection to that center. Believe me, you will not find another path of salvation except for these four walls. And I know, that a lot of you might have complaints, a lot of you might have some issues with the way some centers are run. There is no perfect center in North America. But you have to understand that the volunteers that work day in and day out to bring you these programs are just that, they're volunteers. The problem sometimes with us is that we have a tendency, I know it's surprising, to complain and to judge. We're not willing to do the work. At the same time, we have a problem with the way the work's being done. We don't understand that the volunteers that work day in and day out in this center also have families. They also have jobs. But yet when you arrive here at 8 o'clock or 7:30, the place is lit up, the hall is nice and warm, the food is ready. The point I'm trying to make is everyone is doing their best to bring about the best community. Nobody here has any intention to break this community apart or bring it down. And while you might have a tendency of disagreeing with the way certain programs are run or decisions being made, that's fine. Ikhtilaf is a natural tendency of a human being. We're not robots. We weren't programmed by the exact same software. Every individual in this room is unique to their own self. And so instead of us being this idea of separating ourselves from the center, that's not the solution. The solution is that you always support the center. Always support the masjid. Work with the people that are working in this masjid. If you find they are impossible to work for, if you and that person do not see eye to eye, that's fine. But it doesn't mean that you separate from the center. The concept of avoiding and boycotting the center will get you nowhere. And if you have young kids at home, then that's equally as more dangerous. Because now you're depriving that child of a connection to some sort of a community. So I ask you and I urge you, number one, appreciate the volunteers that work at this center. Understand that they're human beings just like you. They're the first ones here, the last ones out. And always have husn al-dhan when it comes to each other. Always have this idea of giving each other 70 excuses. Sometimes we find it difficult to give one excuse to each other. We give 1,000 excuses to the stranger at work. We give 10 excuses to the guy who bumps us on the way to work. But when it comes to the center, for some reason, there's zero tolerance. And this is not going to cut it. We need to be able to build a community by being tolerant individuals. Unite on the fact that we share one madhab and one hubb Ali inside of our hearts. And to my youth in the audience, every single day now I've been seeing new faces. So it tells me that you are here. Where you go after tomorrow, I don't know. Where you've come from, I have no idea. But I do know that you're here. Now you may not like this idea of the way that our elders run the center, but I'm telling you right now, you are depriving yourself a major source of salvation by not coming to the center. If nothing else happens, you get du'as here, you get salat here, you get dhikr of Allah here, the Quran is here, remembrance of Islam are here. You're not here for anything else but that purpose. You don't like certain decisions being made, that's fine, that's okay, it's not a big deal. There's no perfect center in the world. Every center has their problems. And that's okay. Like I said before, ikhtilaf al-zahni does not equate to ikhtilaf al-qalbi. You don't need to hate the people you disagree with. You don't need to separate with the people you disagree with. You can disagree with somebody and still live at that home peacefully. Are we not all married in this audience? We tolerate each other, no problem. But when it comes to the center, divorce, talaq, separation, boycott, don't go there, don't go here. This will not cut it. Not for you as a generation, and not for our elders. I urge you, as a humble guest of yours, as a son of yours and a brother of yours, this is your family. Make it work. Whatever happens here, keep it within the family. There are people who are very strong-headed here. There are people who are very quiet here. But that's how families work. You fight with your siblings, you make up. You fight with your wife, you make up. You fight with your kids, you make up. This is no different. Boycotting centers when you're 10 minutes away, not coming to a center so you don't like the way the adults talk to you, is you are only depriving yourself with all due respect. And my experience shows that the tighter you are with your community, the more you're able to salvage off the shaitans of this society. And we need help in that department. What's the Our topic from day number 1 has been this attempt to rediscover Islam for us, to reinvent Islam inside of us, to reintroduce Islam inside of us, to make that very crucial transition from biological Muslims to real and spiritual Muslims. And we've talked about various dimensions in Islam from ubudiyat way back when now, which seems like an era ago, to last night's discussion. And today, I really want to speak about our relationship with this thing we call the institution of Azadari. It's a very sensitive discussion. It's a very critical discussion. I have my shield on today. And I'm ready. Just like the Holy Prophet for 40 years built the trust of the people by saying that he was Muhammad Amin, Muhammad Amin, Muhammad Amin, and then at 40 he said, break those idols. 8 days, I built your trust. Now I'm ready to break your idols, inshallah. So stay with me, please. Understand that my niyat is always sincere when it comes to all of you. The system of justice in Islam is a beautiful discussion. No other religion, no other school of thought is our challenge as Shias. Understands and presents adalat the way that we do. We've made it a root of our deen. You are not considered a Shia unless you believe in adalat as a root of the deen. Justice needs to be understood and discussed. And there are several things that need to be said today. The first thing is that justice is what is called an absolute virtue. There are certain virtues and vices that are not absolute. They're relative. For example, peace and harmony and sulh is a relative virtue. There are moments where peace is beautiful. There are moments where peace is not required. War is a vicious vice, but it's not an absolute vice. There are moments where war is a disgusting thing. There are moments where war is a necessary thing. The example I'll give you is from the lives of the Ahlul Bayt. If Imam Hassan al-Mushtaba went to war with Muawiyah, follow this point, please understand this point. If Imam Hassan al-Mushtaba went to war with Muawiyah and Imam Hussein did sulh with Yazid, Islam would have been destroyed. Digest that for a moment. Imam Hassan did peace with Muawiyah or sulh with Muawiyah because he had to at that moment. War was not called for at that moment. Imam Hussein uprose and defended himself against Yazid because he had to at that moment. Doing sulh with Yazid was not what the moment called for. There are moments where virtue and vices are not absolute. They're relative to that situation. But justice is not like that. Justice is absolute. There's never a moment where injustice is to be chosen over justice. Never a moment. You can face your enemy, but us, the followers of the Ahlul Bayt, our imams teach us, even with your enemy, you are to be just. Telling Ibn Muljim or asking Imam Hassan that, look, Ibn Muljim looks thirsty to me, Mullah says. Get him a drink of milk as well as you give me a drink of milk. This is the man who struck on the Mu'mineen just yesterday. Never is injustice chosen over justice. Justice is an absolute virtue. one of the few, if not the only virtue, that's absolute. If we understand the importance of justice, and we do, alhamdulillah, then we should equally understand the destructive nature of injustice as well. Anything that destroys this beautiful institution of justice is a destructive element in society. Imam Hussein's mission in this institution of Azadari, if you can do a khulasa bandiyat, everything that Imam Hussein did, he taught us how to face injustice. Okay. Now, we are consumed with the nitty-gritty details of what happened to Imam Hussein and his companions and the family of Ashura. We discuss those, we cry over those, every single year to the point we have those memorized. We even know on which date, which shaheed will be discussed. And if the speaker discusses somebody else on that day, oh, it's Qiyamah. Right? If I read Hazrat Abbas's Messiah on Jabir Qasim's day, that's it. Never again will I be invited back here. That's how much it is. And as much as that is really, really important, what's important to understand is the seed that Imam Hussein planted on the day of Ashura was just that. It was a seed, the first step of a mission. We believe Imam Hussein got rid of Yazidiyat on the day of Ashura. He did it. He did it. If he did, we wouldn't have Yazidiyat today in this world. And provided, and as long as there is Yazidiyat in this world today, Imam Hussein's mission continues. The day Yazidiyat is stripped from this world and justice is interred, Imam Hussein's mission is complete. Limiting Imam Hussein's mission to one day, someday, 61st Hijri, that we come out in loads and commemorate, and then we leave it alone, is doing Imam Hussein's mission a grave injustice. Imam Hussein planted the seed. And the one who's going to bring that seed to perfection is in Zuhur right now. Is Mughaybat right now. That's why they say that what started on the day of Ashur will be complete on the day of Zuhur. That connection between Imam Hussein and Imam Zamana is a very real connection. Existed after Imam Hussein, it's only Imam Zamana that's called the Avenger of Karbala. Of all the Imams that we know that when they passed away in this world, it was their father that gave them dafn and kafan. But for Imam Zamana, when he leaves this world, we have in our riwayat that Imam Hussein will come and give dafn and kafan to our 12th Imam. A connection is very real between these two Imams. And that connection is just that. He planted the seed, Imam Hussein of Ashura, the Imam will come and perfect that seed. Now, this seed is here, it's in the ground. Every seed needs what? Water and sunlight and fertilizer and upkeep and maintenance. When the Imam comes, it has to be a complete tree for him to come and conquer the world with that tree. Our job from the day of Ashura until the day of Zuhur is to maintain that seed that he planted on the day of Ashura. Okay? And the seed that he planted was that he said, look, whatever the cost may be, you never accept injustice, you always support justice. Our support of the Mazlum and our uprising against the Zalim is unconditional in the Shia world. It doesn't matter who the victim of the dhulm is, we will support that Muslim. If our Jewish brothers are the victim of the dhulm, we will support the Jewish brothers. If our Christian brothers are the victims of dhulm, we will support our Christian brothers. Wherever there is a Muslim, us as Shias are beside them. Wherever there's a Zalim, us as Shias are in their face. And the faster you understand that, the faster we begin to applying Karbala, not only commemorating Karbala. And in this day and age, we have no shortage of Muslimin. There's no shortage, unfortunately. Because evil is an institution that requires supporters. One point you really have to understand. One salat Muhammad. It's Shabi Ashur tonight, we have all night. So I do have some very important discussions to do. If I'm over time, Dr. Zab, I apologize. As long as all of you are with me, inshallah, we'll discuss these things. What's Allah? Evil is that institution that does not survive by itself, it needs supporters. The moment the zalim has no supporters, he crumbles. The institution of justice and haqq isn't like that. It is a standalone institution. By itself, it survives. Supporters are necessary for their own benefit, not for the benefit of the institution. Understand that? And the institution of haqq is not like evil. Evil requires supporters for it to stand on its own. The moment supporters are dead, that institution crumbles. Haqq and justice and insaf is not like that. By itself, it is an institution. So the more that we are quiet when it comes to the evil institution of this world, we are supporting that institution. We send our line every Thursday to the qatil of Imam Hussein. We send our line to those who did dhulm against Imam Hussein. And then we send our line to those who listened for the yazbeh and were ghadi with what they heard. Now a lot of you, I've heard these arguments saying that, look, why are we supporting Bahrain? Why are we supporting Palestine? These people are Nasibi individuals. These people have Bughz Ali in their hearts. It's not the Ahlul Bayt way. Imam Hussein received thousands of letters from Kufa. From where? From Kufa. Kufa was the hub of the enmity of his father. The amount of aziyat that Kufa did for Amir al-Mu'mineen, no one else did. Kufa was the place where his blood was shed. A Kufa was the one that struck Amir al-Mu'mineen with that sword. That same Kufa sent letters to Imam Hussein, 18,000, asking for help. Mawla, please, we're yateen, we need your help. He had every right to say, Kufa, you have the gall to ask me for help? You killed my father. You have hatred for my father in your heart. Did Imam Hussein do that? Imam Hussein sent his ambassador. Imam Hussein packed up his kids and women and went towards Kufa to help them. We have to adopt the exact same sunnah. It's not about their belief, or it's not about their aqidah, it's not about any of that. They are Muslim. And where there is a Muslim, there is a Shia to help that Muslim. So please, these thoughts that all of you have, remove them from your head. Now you may think, well, it's not that easy, it's not that black and white. Yes, it is. It's that black and white. You have a march 2 weeks from today that's been announced every single day. Whether you are Pakistani or not, whether you like Pakistanis or not, it doesn't matter. They are Muslim nonetheless. There's a genocide happening in that country. Targeting not random individuals, professionals, to wipe out the faith in that country. And all you're asked to do is silently stand there and maybe empty your pocket for $20, $25. 35 we heard today. That's it. It's a shame, it's hate. After 10 days of commemorating Imam Hussein, we can't do this much. Because in history, I'll tell you another misconception. We've heard about the companions of Imam Hussein time and time again. Right? We send our salams to them. We remember them. They were the best companions that he ever had. They were also individuals. And by the way, those companions that we respect are those companions that were there at Shabi Ashur. There were individuals that left Imam Hussein before Shabi Ashur. And if you take those individuals who left Imam Hussein, we have three categories. The passive companion, the cautious companion, the conditional companion. And I'll give you examples. Amr bin Qais al-Sharqi was a man that Imam Hussein approached outside of Medina, I believe, and said, look, you know about what's happening in Kufa? And then he asked this individual, are you going to help me in my cause? Imam, look, number one, I'm old. I won't be much help to you. I have some debts You know, there are people who left their amanat with me. I'm sure they want that back. You know, it doesn't really look good for you. I mean, Yazid has a huge army. You know, you're a very pious man. I respect your family. You're a great grandfather. You've done a lot for me. But now for me to join you in this mission, it'll be a little bit difficult, if you don't mind. The Imam says, fine. No problem. But you should leave here as far as you can. Because if my voice on the day of Ashura, when I'm asking for helpers, reaches your ear, and you don't come to help me, you will be included amongst those who oppose me on the day of Ashura. Go as far as you can. This is the passive companion. Not the excuse ones. Like, I'm old, I don't have money, this and that. Ubaydullah ibn Hurr al-Ju'fi was another man Imam Hussein had a conversation with. Are you going to support me in my cause? I'm going now. He says, Imam, you know what? You can have my sword. I have a very nice sword. It's brand new. I spent a lot of money on it. You can take my horse. My horse has never let me down. It does wonders. You know, it's a great horse. All these things are ready for you. If you need food or water, I'll be more than happy to supply that for you. No problem. You can take anything you want. But me, it'll be a little bit difficult, Imam. He says, Ubaydullah, you were the individual that fought with Muawiyah against my father in Siffin. You were an individual who supported Batil in the wake of Haqq in Siffin. Your track record with Allah isn't that great, my brother. I'm giving you an opportunity now to make that up. You have the opportunity now to jabran that, to answer that mistake you made with this blessing. He says, I'm sorry, Imam, I can't do it. But look, horse, sword, food, water, it's all yours. Take it. He says, I'm not here for your food. I'm not here for your sword or horse. I'm here to give you an opportunity. If you're going to reject it, the exact same statement. Go as far away from here as possible. If you hear my call, you don't answer, you'll be amongst those who oppose me. Mahak ibn Abdullah al-Mashriqi was a man who accepted Imam Hussein's invitation to Karbala. Arrived in Karbala second Muharram, but he made a deal with Imam Hussein. He says to the Imam that, look, I'll come with you, but the moment I find out, I kind of feel like things are not going to go on our side. If I kind of sense that we're going to lose this battle. If I feel like the odds are not in our favor, I don't believe. Imam says, sure. Second Muharram, they arrived in Karbala, they set up the tents. Fifth Muharram, sixth Muharram, seventh Muharram. Now, these armies of Umar bin Sa'd are getting increasing bit by bit. They didn't arrive in one shot in Karbala. They came in loads every single day. And no one's arriving for Imam Hussein's nusrat and help. And Mahat is looking at this and saying, there's thousands on this side. I don't see much activity on this side. He comes to the Imam and says, we had a deal, right, Imam? It's 8th Muharram now. If you do the math, it doesn't look very good. So if it's okay, I'm going to cash in on our deal, and I'm just going to leave. The Imam says to him, fine, you can go, but I don't have a horse for you. I have no idea how you're going to get back. He said, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. I've stashed a horse down the road a little bit in a tent that I've pitched up. Just in case I had to go. Let's just go ahead. Passive companion, cautious companion, conditional companion. I ask myself that question before I ask any of you. Do I fall in any of these three categories? Do I stand for what the companions of Imam Hussein stood for? Do I feel nafrat and bughd and hatred towards the Ahl al-Dhulm in this world today when I read about these stories in the newspaper? Or have I become so immune that I'm indifferent towards it? And you flip the page as if nothing happened. Do I support those who are ambassadors of Haqq in the world, at least inside of my heart? Do I verbalize that support with others? Or am I indifferent? Or God forbid, do I hurt the mission of those who are the Ahl Haqq because I don't agree with their political stance as a country? No. Do we fall in those three categories? Are we those who look, Imam, you're pious, I'll cry for you, I'll beat my chest for you, that's fine. But if you want me to act on your mission, I'm sorry, I can't do that. One person offers a sword, a horse, a food and water, right? In our day and age, look, I'll sponsor a majlis, I'll donate to the Muharram fund, I'll break the Badrut, I'll do Hazri, but that's about it. Asking me now to rise up and speak out against injustice, I'm sorry, I can do this much. Cautious companions. Or there are those who actually go to protest, and the moment that they find out that there are some people that shouldn't be there, now they boycott protests. Right? The conditional companion. Do we fall in these categories? Tough questions. Because fine, there are some people who are not able to take that very important stand to go and physically be at a protest, or physically go and speak about these things. I'm asking you, if you're not able to do that, if you don't have that tawfiq, at least in your heart, ask yourself realistically, do I have votes for that individual who's a zalim in this world? Do I at least pray that Allah weakens their power in my namaz? Or am I indifferent? There are countries and governments in the Middle East that are the supporters and ambassadors of haqq. Do we support those countries? Verbally. If not inside of our heart, do we pray that sanctions against them are lifted? That courage is again given to them. That the resistance is again an avenue of success. Do we do all of that? Or have we become indifferent to this whole process? If so, these 9 days, I'm sorry, were just a walk in the park for us. Because a spark is there. And a lot of you have said, somehow there's been a spark these 9 days. I feel good, I feel ready, I feel rejuvenated. And that's great. But a spark, until it's a spark, is useless. A spark is made to create light inside of you. That's what the point of a spark is. A spark by itself is no, you can have 1,000 sparks until it lights something on fire, that spark is useless. The spark that we have for Imam Hussein across 9 days, has it lit anything inside of us? That's the question I have for you. That's our relationship to this Azadari of Imam Hussein. I hear about, and all of you are, majority are from India, I hear about Hindus taking part in Jaluses. I hear about Hindus going for Mannat. I hear about Hindus crying for Imam Hussein. I hear about Hindus doing Matam. So what is the difference between that Hindu and you? If he's right beside you doing the exact same acts that you are. And the moment Ashura and Shamil Hibat is done, he'll go to his home, you'll go to your home. What is the difference between you and that Hindu? Is there a difference? If there is, what is that difference? Not a very nice discussion, is it? Not a very sweet taste in the mouth. But I'm sorry. 8 days. This is the 9th day. This is what we need to understand. Come Sunday, the 11th of Muharram, there should be a little bit of a change inside all of us. I'm with you on this. I struggle equally as much as you struggle. We have to ask ourselves very, very important questions. Because there is enough injustice around in the world today for us to be able to speak out. When I say speak out, let me also make this very clear to all of you, please. One salat ala Muhammad. I'm fully aware of which country we are in. I'm fully aware of the regulations and laws of this continent. My country, Canada, used to be a little bit more relaxed than this country is. But now that country is more tight now than the US is. You have rights as citizens, my brothers and my sisters. Exercise those rights within the law. Work with the people. Be a voice of humanity. If it's one platform that all of humanity can stand on, it's a platform of justice. Right? There's not one individual that can say, I prefer injustice over justice. I'm not saying to convert this person, make them Shia. No. Simply talk about justice. Simply talk about justice. And you'll have a platform of people. The point I made at a majlis yesterday in someone's house, I'll make it again here, because it sticks here. The way that this world is moving towards, the way right now what's happening around the world, and really we have to be a little bit of the Ahl Basir. Open up your eyes a little bit, understand what's happening. Read the analysis that's happening around the world. From proper sources. Cover all sources across the media. Get a good grip of what's happening around the world, in the Middle East, and in your own country as well. And be somebody who knows a little bit about the current affairs in the world. It's okay to be a little bit political. Uh-oh. It's okay. I know, it's a P word. It's a P word, I know, I get it. It's okay. It's okay. Because other individuals are dictating to us how we should react to situations about us. And that's not going to cut it. We have to have our own stance. But within the confines of the law, of course. So if there are friends in the audience who are recording me, I'm not trying to start any sort of problem. I'm simply here to let all of you know that Islam needs you to speak up a little bit. 15 years ago, if I told all of you that the world's problems are one, and the solution is one, you wouldn't believe me. What is he know? If you haven't said it already, days. But the reality is, in today's day and age, in today, 2012, in today's day and age, the reality is that if you sum up the awakening in the Middle East, if you sum up the problems in Europe, if you sum up the Occupy protests in this country, all of it is screaming for social justice and nothing else. Occupy protests are not about Wall Street. The 99% want justice. The Arab awakening, they want justice. They're tired of living under a violent ruler. And the problem is that while they remove that violent ruler, now they're stuck. They don't know where to go after that. Now what do? Egypt removes Hosni Mubarak, now what do? They have no idea. This is where you and I kind of step in. And so you want a solution? The solution is our Imam who's right now in Qayem. He is that solution. He is that one individual that will come and implement justice in the world. Every tradition you've heard and read about the Imam of our time all revolves around the implementation of justice. Nowhere does it say that he's going to come and implement Islam in society. He's going to implement justice, because that talks to the hearts of every individual, young and old, male and female, Muslim and non-Muslim. And that's the platform that we have to present our Aqidah and faith, on the platform of justice. And then you'll see people will run towards you. But first we have to understand that. First we have to break these barriers of not talking about these things. Open up your minds, open up your heart. Let's break the chains of rusumat and move towards ibadat. That's what's needed. And that is the institution of al-Nabi. Otherwise, we are no different than a Hindu brother who is in their jalus having the same madnat on the same alam that we are. No difference. I ask you, please, become a little bit more aware of what's happening. Rise up against injustice. Support the Madhumeen and speak out against the violence. The institution of evil and Yazidiyat exists today. Do not limit Yazidiyat to one person. Do not limit Fir'auniyat to one person. Fir'aun and Yazid were philosophies of life, not individuals. Identify the Yazid and Fir'aun of today, and identify your responsibility to it as well. And that's what we need to do. And this institution, this Farsh Azad, gives us all the right tools. Imam Hussein, time and time again, said that I'm going to establish the deen of my grandfather. Amr bil Ma'ruf is the platform at which he talked about. And those with him on the night of Ashura were no different. It's Shab Ashura. And while we give our pursa to so many people, the pursa that we give Rabab is a little bit different. The sacrifice of Rabab is a little bit different than the sacrifice of the other women and mothers of Karbala. After all, Bibi Zainab lost her two sons in Karbala, but she was able to go back to Medina and be with her husband Abdullah. Farwa came to Karbala as a widow and had her son. But Rabab came to Karbala with her husband, her daughter, and her son, and sacrificed every single one of them on this path of Islam. She left her daughter in the Zindan of Sham. She left her Hussein on the plains of Karbala. She left her 6-month-old Ali Asghar in the plains of Karbala. Her sacrifice is azim, it's great, it's grand what she sacrificed. Because the kamal of a woman is that when she becomes a wife and she gets married, everything becomes her husband. Then when Allah grants her a daughter, she gets very, very happy. Then the entire encompassing picture is another child. She had a son, a daughter, and a husband. For a woman, that's an entire perfect package. She sacrificed that perfection on the path of Islam. Our salams to you tonight, Rabab. Our salams to you, Rabab. The same Rabab that when the Sahaba of Bani Hashim made their way back to Karbala after being released by Yazid, and they said their salams to the various shuhada on the plains of Karbala, when Bibi Zainab announced to get the qafla ready, we're going back now to Medina, everyone was there except for one person. She said, Rabab, it's time to go back to Medina now. Rabab is sitting at the grave of her husband, Abu Abdullah ibn Hussein. And she looks and she might have said, my heart tells me, she might have said, Bobby, I'm going back to Medina, but I'm going back to who? Bobby. I'm going back to what? It's one thing when you sacrifice individuals that you were ready to sacrifice. Shabi Ashur, Imam Hussein is checking every single khaymadah. And every single khaymadah, the mothers are getting their respective children ready for tomorrow's battle. Every single one of them. The sound of crying can be heard from one tent. Imam Hussein enters the khaymadah, sees Rabab is sitting at the foot of the crib and the cradle of Ali Asghar crying. He says, Rabab, why are you crying? He says, Agha, every other mother is getting their children ready to be sacrificed for Karbala. I'm the only mother that won't have that opportunity to give that sacrifice for you. My Sakina is 4 years old, she's a daughter, she won't go until Maidan Karbala. And a 6-month-old baby doesn't usually sacrifice during these wars. I don't have any children to give on the path of Islam. If you and I were there, we'd sit down, we'd explain to Rabab that the battle and the jihad that your daughter and your son will do will be far greater than any other children in Karbala. The tears of Sakina in the Zindan of Sham is the reason why right now, in that corner of Yazid, Imam Hussein is remembered. People will remember Abbas's jihad. People will not remember Ali Akbar's jihad. But the Muskarana of Ali Asghar will always be remembered in history. They had no weapons. Sakina used her tears. Ali Asghar used his smile to bring down the courtyard of prison. When all of the men of the Bani Hashim, one by one, had given their life, Imam Hussein stood there by himself. And the cry from the khaymadah could be heard that a 6-month-old Ali Asghar is thirsty, Maulana. And I mentioned this on the 4th of Muharram, I'll say it again. And you've all heard the Messiah 1,000 times. When Imam Hussein took Ali Asghar and walked towards the Maidan of Karbala to get him some water, they say Ali Asghar was motionless. He wasn't crying, he wasn't throwing a fit, he wasn't wailing his arms. My mother's in the audience who have infant children at home. You know enough to know that when your child is hungry or thirsty, that child constantly cries, moves and kicks his arms and legs, makes it a point to make his mother know that I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I'm not comfortable. But we don't have any of that in our books. None of it says that Ali Asghar made a big sound about his thirst. He was motionless in the hands of Imam Hussein. Ustad Tawakkul, my Ustad, insightful. says that when you take a fish out of water, it goes through stages. The first thing the fish does when it's immediately out of water is that it goes from its stomach to its back, its stomach to its back. When it realizes that water will not get to me right away, it stops moving. Its tail goes left and right, left and right. When a second stage of water is not coming, then he simply opens his eyes and closes his eyes. The last stage, my brothers and my sisters, when he realizes that water could be impossible to get, his mouth simply opens, his mouth simply closes. They say Ali Azmi stood there, motionless on the arms of Imam Hussein. His mouth was opening, his mouth was closing. Nothing else moved. Imam Hussein says, if your war is with me, if you have a problem with me, this 6-month-old of mine is completely masoom. He's thirsty. Give him some water, and if you believe for a moment that I might drink his water, I'll lay him on the plains of Karbala. You come give him that water. When the army of Umar bin Saad saw this scene, every single one of them began to cry. Umar bin Saad realized if this continues, there'll be a revolution in my army. He calls for Hurmala, quench the thirst of the 6-month-old boy. When Mukhtar grabbed Hurmala and arrested him, he asked Hurmala, tell me what your role was on the day of Ashura. He says, Mukhtar, I shot 7 arrows. 4 of them hit, 3 missed. He said, Hurmala, tell me about the 4 that hit. He goes, the 1 arrow that hit Abdullah ibn Hassan in the chest, the son of Imam Hassan, who was trying to protect his uncle. The second arrow that hit was in the eye of Abul Fazl Abbas, that same arrow that he fell on when he fell from the horse. The 3rd arrow I dipped in poison, and on Asr Ashur, I struck the chest of Abu Abdullah ibn Hussein. He says, Hurmala, tell me about the 4th arrow. He said, Mukhtar, what do I tell you? The 4th arrow was that arrow. That was a 3-pronged arrow. Arrows I used to break the necks of animals. When Ali Asad was crying for water, when I saw that my companions were crying themselves, when Umar bin Saad told me that Hurmala quenched the thirst of this boy, I grabbed not a 1-pronged arrow, not a 2-pronged arrow, I grabbed the 3-pronged arrow, Mukhtar, and I flung it at the many neck of Ali Asad that went in 1 arrow, hit out the rest, pinned his neck to his father Imam Hussein. Blood began gushing. At that moment, Imam Hussein gathers the blood of Ali Asad, attempts to throw it up to the sky rejects it, tries to put it on the ground rejects it. At that moment, as if to say, Allah, bear witness, I'm taking the blood of my Ali Asad and I'm putting it on my face. Now you have this lifeless body of a 6-month-old in your arms. The mother of that 6-month-old is waiting for him in the Qayem. How do you tell the mother of a 6-month-old child, I took your son for water, and now this is what happened? 7 times Armona went front, he stopped, he turned back, he stopped, he went front. 7 times he couldn't understand. How do I explain to Rabab that this is what happened to your Ali Asad? Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. What do I do? How do I tell him? He calls out, Rabab, come help me bury my 6-month-old Ali Asad. سيعلم الذين ظلموا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون.